Good morning, everybody. You're listening to Table for Two with Naomi Nachman on the Nachum Siegel Network. Our show is sponsored by Hod Golan, the height of taste. For those of you who don't know me, I am Naomi Nachman, and I'm about all the food, all the time. I love restaurants. I love cooking for food, shopping for food, eating food. You name it, I like it. I cater for people for Shabbat, for Yom Tov. Do small personal chef jobs anytime you don't feel like cooking. You can give me a call, and I will gladly come and do it for you. I hope you'll tune in every week and hear about my exciting food adventures that I have. And I like to hear about your adventures too. So email me, naomi@nachumsiegel.com, and let me know what you ate, where you ate, what you made, how good it was. If it was a flop, I'm happy to help with some advice if I can. Join my newsletter on theaussiegourmet.com, Pinterest, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I think I got all four in there. So if you eat it, share it. We have a very exciting show today. It's our Purim show. Let's call it our Purim show because we've got a big focus on Purim. It's just almost around the corner, which means Pesach is around the corner. I'm in full-blown Pesach mode. But I did manage to eat out this week. I went to Reserve Cart with our dear friends Avi and Laura Posner. I was dying to go there, and it did not let me down. I've eaten, Baruch Hashem, at a lot of restaurants around the world, and this is the prettiest, most beautiful, restaurant I've ever eaten at, besides the food being amazing, sublime. I had lamb chops that were like perfectly pink in the center, and I said, when the waiter took my own, he goes, "How would you like that, ma'am?" And I said, "However the chef recommends it." Usually I feel like I'm okay with that call, and it came out, looked very, very rare. I usually like medium rare, but I wanted to eat how the chef thought I should eat it, and it did not let me down. It was amazing. It was probably the most expensive meal I ever had. But it was great. Hubby and our friends also enjoyed it. It was a really great and unbelievable ambiance. I've really asked, I'm going to say it again, I've never eaten at such a pretty restaurant. I also ate at Petite Shell on the Upper East Side. Some unbelievable baked goods. Their rogalach are to die for, made with real butter and cream cheese, and they had croissant sandwiches. It's not a bagel shop. It's like just a croissant shop. You want a sandwich, you get it in a croissant. I thought that was brilliant, and it was really delicious. I am going on a little bit of a food adventure this week. Next week, I should say. I'm going to go hit up Boof and Bun. I'm giving them a shout out, even though I haven't eaten there yet. I've seen a lot of social media following them around. And I just love burgers. I'm a big burger person. Of course, you all know that I love Gotham Burger and I love Amsterdam Burger. But Boof and Bun is something different. And I read this week in the Time magazine, very interesting article how, the calories haven't changed, but the ingredients have. We've made them not any healthier, but packed. A Big Mac from the 1960s is just as fattening as a $25 burger from these fancy restaurants. But the evolution of the hamburger and how we can put everything in it, from truffle fries and poached eggs and avocado mousse inside a burger. So I want to go try some of the burgers at Boof and Bun. So I will report back in a couple of weeks how that meal was. Anybody who wants to come on a food adventure with me, I'm trying to actually plan a group of people that want to get together and hit all the kosher food trucks in Manhattan. So we want to wait maybe for the weather to get a little bit warmer, but I think that would be a really fun day too. If you are interested in joining me to go to the kosher food trucks, send me an email, naomi@nachumsiegel.com, and we'll coordinate a nice day to go together. Okay, the winner from last week's show. We had a brilliant show last week in Gourmet Glatt. We had Dalia Abraham Weiss, right? I'm sorry, Klein. Sorry, Dalia. Sorry. She had a giveaway for her spiritual kneading cookbook, and the winner was Nathan Levine. Not sure how to pronounce it. All the way from Baltimore, Maryland. So we're going to send that book out to you. Congratulations, and thank you for everybody for entering that giveaway. All right, so we have, as I said, a great lineup of guests. I'm just going to tell you the lineup, and then we're going to start our chats with all our amazing guests. I have he's actually on the line from Israel, Daniel Moshmaya, who's the executive director of the Young Israel International Young Israel Movement, and he lives in Israel. He's going to be joining us in a minute. And on the we're going to be joined by Aviva Kanoff, who's in San Francisco, early in the morning there. She wrote 2 amazing cookbooks. I'm going to hold them up to, for those of you who are watching the show as well as listening, I'm just holding the books up to the video camera, and you can watch the show on Nachum Siegel Net on YouTube channel. So it's gluten-free around the world and no potato Passover. So we're kind of going to intertwine gluten-free cooking and Pesach into our Purim show. And then, of course, I have sitting right next to me, Sarah Goldstein. Hi, Sarah. Hello. Thank you for joining me. She's okay? All right. Thank you for joining me.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
I don't know if the people that are can actually see, but there's a whole bunch of cupcakes in front of her, which means you're going to eat later on in the show. Sarah is an unbelievable baker, so we're going to be talking to her and eating some of her samples in a little bit later on in the show. So thank you. Sit tight, and we're on for a wild ride today, this Friday morning. Okay, on the line I have from Israel, Daniel Mushmeyer. Mush? Hello?
Hi, Naomi. How are you?
Hi, mate. How are you?
Very good. Welcome from a freezing Yerushalayim.
It's freezing there?
Yep, I wish you were here with us.
Yeah, I wish I was there too, but it's freezing here as well. We need to go to
How
Eilat.
have you been, Naomi?
Yeah, good. I'm just going to tell our listeners, Mush and I know each other. I don't want to say 40 years because that makes us sound old, but at least 40 years, right? 35 years?
30.
Yeah, we'll make it 20. We just met.
Great. We'll call it quits at 20 years.
Okay, that sounds like a plan. Mush was actually my madrich in B'nai Kiva back in Sydney, Australia. We became friends. We've been friends, as we said, for a long time. Mush moved to Israel. I moved to New York. Okay, not such a good Aliyanik, B'nai Kivanik, but I'm still going. I'm still coming. So Mush is...
We're waiting for you, Naomi, and we're waiting for everybody else.
Okay, great. We are coming. I'm going to say we are coming. Okay, so Mush is actually, as I mentioned earlier, he's the director of the National Young Israel Movement. Did I get it right, Mush?
You got International Young Israel Movement based in Israel region.
In the what region?
In the Israel region.
Oh, in Israel. Okay, the best region to be in. Actually, the oldest young Israel is right here on the Lower East Side.
Correct.
It predates all the other young Israels. Okay, so this is the third time I'm having Mush on the show. Everyone who remembers me having Mush on, we have him on every year, this time of the year, for because he organizes Mishloach Manot for the Chayalim, and that speaks to me. A, it's food. B, it's a chag, and the Chayalim that need our support and feel our love from within Israel and from abroad. Are you there? Uh-oh.
Okay, Naomi. So this year we're very excited. We're running
he's
a very
back.
big campaign this year. So far we have 18,000 Mishloach Manot pledged by friends from all over the world. We're aiming at 10,000. Obviously, the more packages we get donated, the more we can give to the Chayalim. This year we'll be giving and distributing on bases on the Syrian and Lebanese border where it's all happening. We'll be in the Hebron Hills, all around Hebron. We'll be in the Jordan Valley and much, much more. If your listeners want to partner with us, our website is www.yimanot.org. There they can send packages and letters to their soldiers, which we will hand deliver, or they can just send packages to their friends and family anywhere in Israel.
Oh, so you can
Naomi, I want to tell you... Sorry?
I didn't realize you could also send to friends. Like if you have a child in Israel for the year, or an aunt and uncle, or your in-laws,
your uncle, auntie, rebbeim, anybody you want.
That's such a nice idea. Besides the Chaylim, I did not realize that. That's really beautiful. Okay, so you were saying?
I want to tell you something, Naomi, that was very special. When we went to deliver to bases all over Israel last year, we got a very pleasant surprise. Every base we walked into, we found Chayalim Bodedim, Chayalim that had made Aliyah from all over America, from New York, New Jersey, LA, Baltimore, Chicago, and many more places. There was even one Chayalet, one female soldier from Sydney, where we come from.
Yeah, I saw that on the video.
Yeah, the video is going viral on Facebook and on the internet at the moment.
Yeah, I've actually posted it.
Saying thank you.
I posted it last night. You can go to my page and see that beautiful, beautiful video. I was crying my eyes out.
And they, along with their Israeli counterparts, are so thankful when we get out there. We find them in the middle of the shooting ranges. We find them on patrol. We find them all over this beautiful country. And they just can't, I can't express to you the smiles we get, the thanks we get. You know, we also give out letters and pictures from children, school children, Jewish schools from all over the world. And it means as much to the Chayalim that people are thinking about them. It really warms their heart and really means so much to them. I encourage everyone to travel over to www.yimanot.org.
Y-I-Manot? Y-I-Manot?
IMANOT.org.
Can we put that up on the screen?
Send a letter. If you're not going to send a package, send a letter, because that also means a lot to them as well.
Yeah, I'm sure the words mean it so much to them. So,
I just want to make a mention, Naomi, that we're going to have 2 people joining us this year. We're going to have a lot of people joining us. If any of your listeners will be in Israel on Tuesday, the 3rd of March, and want to join us, please email me via that website, and we'll be happy to take them along. But we have 2 very special friends coming from New York to join us.
Okay.
One is Mayor Mishkoff, the president of the American Friends of Israel Hatzair, who allows this all to happen. And the other is our major backer and donor, Ruben Margolis, who is the president of the ZOA in Brooklyn.
That's ZOA. That's
Mm-hmm.
ZOA for the Americans.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
The Canadians and Aussies will get it.
I encourage your listeners to hop on a plane and help us distribute. But if they can't make it, we'd love to have them involved.
And where does all the food comes from? You know, I'm a foodie. Where does this food come from?
Okay, the food we use a supplier who many of your listeners might know as the candy man of the Shuk of Machane Yehuda.
Oh.
On a Grippas next to the Marzipan store. There's a very, very big candy store.
Did you take me there?
Store.
Did you take me there?
Sorry? I took you there when you were here, Naomi.
I remember
After
that.
we ate our pasta lunch. Yep, we went and had candy.
At
That's where it comes from. Zvika and his brothers, they've been there for 30 years. They're the biggest and the best. And their package is actually being packed in their warehouse, which is in Mishor Adumim, just next door to Male Adumim.
Oh, okay, nice. So it's filled with really good candy. I know that store very well.
Yeah, it's really good. And for all your listeners that are very healthy, don't worry, the Chayalim eat very healthy 3 times a day. And when you do as much exercise and running around as they do, you don't have to worry about cholesterol.
Cholesterol or sugar. They need that sugar rush sometimes.
That's right. That's right. Especially the ones on the borders and they're up all night around Hebron. They deserve this, Naomi. They deserve the smiles on their faces. And this is one way we can say thank you to them.
Now, I'm going to whip out my checkbook right now. Right before Shabbat, I'm going to get home. I'm serious. Like before Shabbat, I'm going to get home and I'm going to take care of this. I encourage everybody. This is an amazing cause. I'm actually quite choked up. Take a breath.
Well, Naomi, I hope next year you'll join us on the distribution.
That would be amazing. I would love to do that, and I'd love to come in and do it, depending on the timing, to do the Jerusalem Marathon. That would be like the highlight of my life.
First you can eat all the junk, and then you can do the marathon.
Then I can burn it off. How do you think I'm going to get the fuel to burn it all off? I know my daughter Gabriella. My daughter Gabriella is going to be running for Shalva. She's flying in with SKA, and they have a whole team going to do Chesed with the kids from Shalva, and then doing their marathon and more Chesed projects. It's unbelievable what they have going in Israel and how we take care of our people through Mishlach Manot.
It's all very beautiful, Naomi.
Through
it's
everything.
Beautiful to watch. And again, I encourage your listeners, send Mishlach Manot to family and friends in Israel. Send Mishlach Manot and letters to Chayalim in Israel. On that side, you can also give Matanot Le'Evyonim to the poor of Shderot. www.yimanot.org.
Okay, great. And I'm sure everyone's copied that down. And you can, if any questions, you can reach out to Daniel Mushmeyer, or you can email me, Naomi at nachumsiegel.com, and I can help you with all that. Thank you so much. I know it's almost Shabbat for you.
Naomi, I just want to finish by wishing you and your listeners all the Purim Sameach.
Thank you.
And Lashana Haba B'Yerushalayim.
Amen. Thank you to you, and best regards to the family.
I will, and yours too. Keep well.
We'll talk to you soon.
Bye-bye.
That was Daniel Mushmeyer. He's the executive director of the International Young Israel Movement out of Israel. It's really an incredible organization that it does so much, as we just heard from Mush. Okay, very exciting. I have to pull my thoughts together because I watched the YouTube link that was on the, I went to the website, yimanot.com, and there's a YouTube link of watching the Chaylim Bodedim, saying, I'm from Sydney, I'm from here. I thank you for the Mishlach Manot. A girl was from South Africa, and I was like crying my eyes out. So just going to take a deep breath and move on because it was really nice. Okay, so we're going to get Aviva Canoff on the line. Do we have her phone number? No, whoops, I got to give CK the phone number. Okay, that would be really good. That would be very smart of me. Whoop, it's my fault. Okay, I'm going to just get that for you right now. Aviva's number is, she's actually waiting for our call because she's all the way in, there you go. She's all the way in San Francisco. She's a really cool chick because she gets to fly around the world, eat, and then she comes home and recreates it in her kitchen. So I'm like, that is really cool. Her book publicist had called me and said, can I send you the books? The Aviva's books. And I'm like, absolutely. So she has 2 books, The No Potato Passover, which came out in the year 2013. I'm going to hold that up to the screen for those who are watching, and I'm going to be opening some of the pages up later on for you to have a look at. And her latest book from this year is Gluten-Free Around the World. I love that the fact she's gluten-free. A lot of people are pushing in that direction. And it's also perfect for Pesach. There's a lot of exciting experiences that she's had, and she's going to be sharing that with us. Okay. All right, ZK's got her on the phone. He is the best. I cannot do anything without him. Okay. Thank you, ZK. I'm sorry, I forgot to get you the number. Silly me. Okay. Aviva?
Yeah, hi.
Hi, Boker Tov. How are you?
Good, great.
I know, very early in the morning for your 3 hours. It's like California's like 3 hours behind, right?
Yeah.
I'd just like to read to our listeners a little bit about you that is on your website. Aviva Canoff. Am I saying it right? Canoff? Canoff. It's my accent. I blame everything on my accent.
Okay.
Has been described as the Indiana Jones of cooking, an adventurer, world traveler, fearless hero on the ground, in any vehicle and anywhere with a cooktop. I love that. Her globe-trotting has taken her to the far reaches of Peru, India, Italy, Israel, Croatia, Southeast Asia, and then some, where she has tasted local flavors, photographed the feast, and recreated the bountiful flavored dishes of these exotic places in her own kitchen. And then I see also that you've also had French culinary training. She's worked as a personal chef, and she's got a degree from Hunter College in studio art. So, Aviva, you are like so well-rounded.
Oh, thanks. In some areas. Don't ask me to fix your computer.
Yeah, I'm not so good at that either, but I can whip up a good dish. Everybody's got something, right?
That I could do.
Okay, so when did you start this whole traveling thing?
It's funny because I used to be like the most homesick person in the world.
Really? I never would have guessed that.
Oh my God, I was so homesick. I would never, ever, ever leave home. And I thought like when I was older, I would build a house in my parents' backyard and settle down. And then little by little, I was always really fearful of traveling. My family didn't do a lot of travel at all. But I always had this really intense curiosity about the world. So once I was able to overcome my fear little by little, I really discovered that traveling is my biggest passion in life.
That's mine too. I love it. Okay, so where was the first place you got rid of your fear? But where did you jump into? When did you?
Actually, my first ever trip out of the U.S. With just a friend was to France. We were supposed to go to France and Italy, London, France, and Italy, which sounds like a dream trip.
Right,
but
does.
I was so scared that I came home after a week.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And my friends make so much fun of me when they hear that, I'm a world traveler and blah, 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 because they just picture this, scaredy cat turning green in Paris.
So that's what happened. You turned around and came back home?
I literally did. I didn't eat or sleep for a week. I was so nervous. Coming from a family of Holocaust survivors, they instilled such an intense fear of Europe.
Right,
it's
true.
I was having Holocaust dreams. It was really a disaster. Really scary.
It's scary now again. A lot of craziness going on in Europe.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, for real. Yeah. And there's lots of places that I wouldn't go now. France is one of my favorite places in the world, and
I've been there.
It's scary.
Yeah.
There now.
I've got close friends in France, and they're feeling it. They're really feeling it. So did you end up making it to Italy?
So I didn't end up making it to Italy that time, but thank God I've been back like 5 times since then. So I'm good.
Okay, where's
Made
your
up for it.
favorite place in Italy? Because I've done a little traveling there.
My favorite place is probably Cinque Terre.
Oh, I did not go there. I'm
Oh
dying
my
to
God,
do
you
that.
have to go back.
Okay, I'm
Cinque
going.
Terre, and to me, even though it's a little bit cliche, Venice is just so charming. And I'm an artist painter, and I can't make a painting without throwing in a boat and a pink house.
Yeah. My husband loved Venice. He thinks it's the most enchanting city in the world. And we ate
I really do.
we ate Shabbat at Gum Gum. The only thing I found that I couldn't eat in Gum Gum or in Venice so much. I had pizza, of course, very cliche to eat pizza in Italy. But I like to have, as you say, local flavors and local cuisine. There wasn't so much there. I don't want to go. Rome had more authentic Italian cuisine.
Yeah. Yes, definitely. I mean, I think that a lot of places also, especially kosher places, they're catered to the Jewish tourists, and they're picturing, I guess, tourists from Flatbush who don't like to be surprised with their cuisine.
Surprise me. I want to be surprised.
Yeah, so there's people like you and me who like that surprise, and there's some people, after doing so many cooking demonstrations, people don't want to, a lot of people don't want to hear anything that's not potato kugel and cholent on Shabbos.
Right. And don't think we don't love potato kugel and
my
cholent.
God, I love potato kugel. That's the thing. Like, and my first book, No Potato Passover,
I'm going to hold that up.
Inundated with questions.
I'm holding that up to the screen. We're also, you're on the phone because you're in San Francisco, but I'm here in the studio on the Lower East Side. We also have a camera on, so I'm actually holding your book up to the screen so people can see the No Potato Passover cover. And how did you get inspired to do this? You were saying.
So actually, I didn't even think of writing a cookbook at the time. It never even entered my mind because I'm not one to measure at all. I'm not precise with pretty much anything in my life. So, it never occurred to me, but I was asked to do a cooking demonstration in Miami for this big tzedakah fundraiser. And I was like, sure, I'll do it. Sounds great. So we were coming up with themes that would be, interesting and popular. And at first they asked me to do a Pesach cooking demo. And that for me is really fun because I'm the one who really cooks for Pesach in my home in Miami. And the year before that, I had decided, after my mom asked me to go buy like 50 pounds of potatoes and 70 dozen eggs.
Oh, yeah. That sounds like
my
life.
I'm not so in the mood to schlep. How could I get around this? So I'm like, what would happen if we didn't use one potato to Pesach?
What?
I'm so sick of potatoes. I'm like, what would happen if we didn't use one potato?
And what happened?
So, I was a little bit, my mom's like, what? We're going to starve. We're going to die. What are we going to do? I was like, you know what? Calm down. You go back to your room, take a bath. I got it under control.
Oh, I like this chick.
I know. I'm like, Mom, let's take a nap. We're fine.
Oh, I wish my kids would say that to me. Take a nap. I'll take care of Pesach.
Yeah, pretty much.
Your mummy's very lucky.
She is, and we're all very lucky. We're a really happy, fun family.
You sound it. Okay, so...
Yeah, so I go to the grocery store for the first time without a potato tunnel vision, and I felt like I was in The Wizard of Oz, where all of a sudden there was like a world of color, and like the beautiful eggplants and spaghetti squash and different colored peppers. There's just so many other vegetables out there that people don't really think about because they get so stuck on this go buy 50 pounds of potatoes, mode. And it really opened me up to a whole new array of foods that I had never, my family had never even had a Brussels sprout until like 3 years ago.
Oh, really? And you're a chef. How'd they get away with that?
I do all the experimenting in my own kitchen, and then I find something that they would be open to, I'll cook it at home. But they're not the most adventurous eaters. Especially I have 10 nieces and nephews, and they're used to eating chicken nuggets, and they don't want to see anything else besides a meatball.
Oh, wow. Okay, so you got very, are you gluten-free in general?
I personally am not, but after I wrote the No Potato Passover, the publisher who printed the book said, listen, I noticed that there's so many gluten-free recipes, and gluten-free is really big right now. Like, would you be interested in writing a gluten-free cookbook?
That's amazing.
And
I'm
I was
holding
like-
this one up. I'm getting the gluten-free book up, ready.
Oh, okay.
Okay, everyone can see it if they're watching. It's a beautiful book because the front covers is pictures of all the places you've been, a bunch of places you've been with some of the cuisine mixed in there. It's beautiful. And these are all your own photographs, right?
Yeah.
Beautiful. Okay.
Yeah, so I did the market research, and I saw that all the, at the time, 2012, I saw that all the cookbooks were really kind of like pamphlets you would get from the doctor, like Living with Your Disease, and all kinds of really unappetizing books. And I'm like, why should people who are already suffering being gluten-free as celiac, and why should they have to, have such ugly books? Why shouldn't their cuisine be inspiring and fun and delicious? So I decided to, look up places that have intrinsically gluten-free diets, because as much as I, excited to see a gluten-free baguette, I thought it'd be more fun to go and discover countries where most people are gluten-free, because they don't even grow wheat on the continent, like Southeast Asia.
There's no wheat grown in Asia at all?
Not in Southeast Asia. There definitely is in the north, I'm pretty sure, but in the south, they do not grow it at all. So everything is rice-based. They have rice pasta and rice rolls.
Right.
Everything is rice.
Rice. Right, I forgot about that. I've seen rice buns. We eat a lot of rice pasta at home.
Yeah. So that, so I wanted to go to places that have intrinsically gluten-free diets, so we're not doing a lot of substitution.
Okay, what's your favorite cuisine from around the world? I have to ask you that.
Honestly, I think it's Italian.
Mine too.
I love Italian food. My favorite food is pasta.
But you make your own, of course.
My own pasta? I really don't.
Oh, really? I love making pasta. Because once you've had fresh pasta, it's hard to go back.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
I bought myself a machine, a small, it was $50. I clamp it to my kitchen table and I crank out some amazing, it's just flour and egg.
Yeah. No, it's really easy. It's just a lot of
Yeah, it's a lot of work. Yeah, it's a lot of work. But when you have a 7-year-old who's really eager to help mummy in the kitchen, so to speak, and I'm putting in air quotes, help mummy, she actually loves to crank, so that kind of makes it a little bit easier. But I love to make pasta, and I love to eat pasta too. But there's nothing like fresh homemade pasta and homemade sauce. But yeah. Okay, what's your favorite spice?
My favorite spice? I'm pretty sure I love cumin.
I love you.
I love cumin.
I love cumin and curry, but
yeah, you know what? I didn't even like. It's funny because when I went to India, I did not like Indian food at all. Before that, I was just never into it. I'm like, I'm going to India. Everyone's like, oh my God, the food's so great. I'm like, nah, I can live without it. But there's so many flavors that I had never even tried before. I think a lot of my aversion is just not knowing, and it's unfamiliar. And I think that's one of the things that I try to do is, you're traveling, you're seeing the world, you're opening up yourself to new cultures and new cuisines and new flavors and new everything. And I try to be as open as possible.
I think that's fantastic. I think we should be all a little bit open-minded. I have friends who are adults who won't try certain things. I'm like, try it. You're actually not going to die.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I grew up in such a, there's so many people that are like, no, I don't like it. Like, how do you know? You never tried it.
Right. So I was just saying at the beginning of the beginning of the segment with you that I had, or maybe earlier on the show, I had gone to a fabulous restaurant here in Manhattan called Reserve Cut, and the food, I ordered this lamb. I love lamb, and I ordered it a little bit. I asked the chef to prepare it the way he would like it, so it was a bit rarer than I would have chosen, but I wanted to try what the best way to eat it, and one of the side accompaniments was olives and peppers, and that's two foods I really don't love, but I ate it
really?
Because I wanted it. I wanted to try something different, and it goes well with the lamb, and I paired it together, and I was like, oh, this isn't so bad after all. So sometimes opening up your mind and palate, can be a great experience.
You're so surprised to how much you can learn and how much you really do like.
What's been you've traveled the whole. Oh, you traveled the world. What has been your hardest? Once you got over, say, you told me your fear. What's been your hardest hurdle to get over?
My hardest what?
The hardest hurdle. Like, what have you run into any problems with Shabbat or anything crazy?
I've had a lot of crazy situations, honestly. I think, like, one of the craziest was trying to get, I was in India, and the way that I'm inspired to travel is I go to Google Images and I put in the name of a place, or I put up, like, prettiest place in India and see what kind of images they conjure up.
Oh, that's
and
very
if they're
clever.
Images that I'm inspired by, I'm like, oh, my God, I totally want to go here.
That's how you pick where you're going?
Pretty much, yeah.
I quite often wait for Dan's deal tweet to decide where I'm going.
Oh, and what is that?
Dan's deal? Okay. So Dan is some guy in the middle of the country. He's like in Ohio or something. He's a Orthodox guy, and he knows how to find cheap airline deals. So he'll tweet out to like 20,000 people. Like, he finds all the glitches in the system, and he promotes it online. So they had $50 tickets to Hawaii from Delta. They just had $75 tickets last week from London to New York. You had to get to London, but you came back business class for $75.
Oh, my gosh. That's crazy.
So write down Dan's deal. You can go to his website, dansdeal.com. I'm giving him a shout out.
Yeah, you should. That's awesome.
Yeah, so that's quite often how I pick it. But you're picking it by the country and the prettiest place in that country.
Yeah, I just like to go to places where I'm going to be inspired. And then I get a little disappointed if I show up and it doesn't look like the picture. I'm not going to lie.
Okay.
But, no, but that's definitely what fuels me. I have, like, one image in my head.
And you're like, I want to go there. I quite often pick up, a place that because of the cuisine. Like, I really wanted to go to Italy besides wanting to see Venice and trying the food in Rome. Like, I want to eat the local stuff.
Yeah.
I'll pick my place on food. Okay, I'm just looking at my list of questions. I have so many. Okay, so let's talk about your background. Culinary school. Where did you go?
I went to French Culinary Institute.
Isn't that right here on the Lower East Side?
Yeah.
On Grand Street?
Right off of Broadway and Howard.
Oh, okay, great. I remember when I used to live here on the Lower East Side, I used to pass it. I should have gone to cooking school back then. That would have been nice and convenient.
I honestly, as someone kosher, it's really hard. I can't recommend it.
Right. Chef Aviva Friedman, she's the head chef, one of the chefs at the Loft Steakhouse in Borough Park, and she said that also last week. It's so hard to be an Orthodox Jew inside a non-kosher cooking school.
I mean, it's basically just like traveling the world. You see all this cuisine, but I mean, there's not a lot of kosher restaurants in India that you're going to,
right. So how did you manage?
You have to just, a lot of vegetarian. You end up eating a lot of rice and vegetables. But, for me, it's more about seeing. I'm used to not being able to taste on the spot.
Right.
So you kind of develop a sixth sense for what it tastes like based on smell, and then go home and recreate it.
Uh-huh. So that must be... So can you tell me about one of those experiences? What did you see that you had to run home and make? And how was that process?
Actually, so when I was in Bali, the first day I was there happened to be a Bali Bridge Festival.
A Bali, B-A-L-I, Bali.
Mm-hmm.
It's right near Australia, in Indonesia.
Yeah, so they had a bridge festival, which is once a year. I'm sure I'm not doing it justice, but as an American, it was basically like a holiday where they chase away the demons. So they get dressed up in all these costumes, and the whole entire city gets dressed up, and they have a huge parade, and the mayor comes out, and they have all the top chefs and local farms, and you name it. They're all there with a booth. And there was so much food that I've never, ever seen before in my life. Like, Indonesian cuisine was so...
What is Indonesian cuisine? Can you describe it for us? Because there is no kosher Indonesian.
They use a lot of lemongrass and a lot... basically the thing that was the most surprising is the way that they cook the food. Like wrapping a lot of stuff in lemongrass and using... because there it's not $10 a stock at Whole Foods.
I know, it's so expensive. We can buy it in gourmet glass.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So they're, so it's definitely accessible now
But it's not cheap.
Yeah, but they're, the way they ground up chicken and they made these chicken satays and corn fritters and they use a lot of peanuts, a lot of peanut sauces, and I just thought that it was so inventive.
It sounds very similar to like Thai cuisine with peanuts
It's
and
similar.
lemongrass.
Yeah, it's pretty similar. I think like Asia, Indonesia, Southeast Asia, Indonesia, they have a pretty similar climate and they're able to grow a lot of the same foods.
Right.
So a lot of the cuisine is pretty similar.
So what did you go home and make? Is it in the book? Can I hold it up to the screen?
Oh, yeah. So there's actually, I took a cooking class there. We made nutty corn fritters.
So you took a cooking class there?
Yeah.
That's adorable. I love that.
Yeah,
Good
I
on
love taking cooking classes with local natives. They take you to the market, and they bring you home with them. And, I've been to so many random homes.
I love
and that's
that.
really where you see the local culture,
Right. So
I met a carpet salesman in Kashmir. He's like, come over, my wife will cook for you. I was like, I kind of want to see what you make.
that is great. So where can I find that in the book? Do you know what page that is offhand? Because I'd like to hold that up to the screen.
I know that there's nutty corn fritters, and there's also
I saw that.
Lemongrass chicken meatballs. Those two were definitely inspired by Indonesia.
Okay, I'm having a look down the list of this beautiful cookbook, and I love your photography. I feel like I'm there with you.
Yeah, that was kind of the idea. I know that so many people don't have the ability to travel. Especially they have young kids and it's expensive and they don't have that opportunity. So I kind of wanted to create this wanderlust journal where they could really live vicariously through the pages.
No, and I really feel that you've done that. I kind of feel like I've gone on this little trip with you. It's
Oh, that's great.
fabulous.
That's exactly what I was looking for.
Mission accomplished.
Great.
What are you working on next? I want to come with you. Can I come?
What? Yeah.
I'm coming.
Sure. You know what? That would be fun, actually, to take, like, a bunch of people on a trip and just
But somewhere crazy. I want to go somewhere crazy. Safe.
Yeah.
Safe. Because I'm a mummy.
I think Kashmir was one of the craziest places I've ever been.
Where's that?
Kashmir, right in the it's on the border of India and Pakistan.
Oh, I'm scared.
Yeah, Kashmir, and I ended up getting to the border at like 3 o'clock in the morning after a 24-hour drive when I thought it would be 6 hours. And people are falling asleep on the road, and I'm like, what is happening?
Oh, God. Your mum must have been freaking out.
Oh, I didn't tell her until I get home. That's usually what I do.
Oh,
she has no clue.
As a mum, that's smart, yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, I know how she rolls.
These Jewish mamas. It
started in Sternberg. I'm like, you know what? I don't live in a tent.
So where did you go?
Yes, I went to Kashmir, and they stopped us at the border.
Okay.
And it was a little bit scary being Jewish tourists from New York.
That's so cool.
Like a very Muslim state.
Yeah.
So, and of course, I was traveling with 2 other Americans and an Israeli, ex-Chayal.
Of course, yes.
And
wherever you travel in the world, you'll find some Israelis. And Baruch Hashem, Chabad people.
Ride. I'm like, all right, whatever. What's 24 hours in the car with a stranger? It's fine.
You're cracking me up.
So we get to the Kashmiri border, and I'm wearing like pajamas, and I can't find my shoes, and disaster. So he pulls us out of the car, and we get to his little tiny hut with like cots. It looks like a bunker. It's really kind of scary. And I show up wearing like 2 different socks and 1 shoe, and he looks us over. He's like, "What are you doing here?" I'm like, "Well, I just love traveling." He's like, "Why Kashmir?" I'm like, I have a lot of Kashmiri friends, and they told me to go stay with their brother on Dal Lake in a boathouse. I'm like, okay. So he's looking at our passports, and he's like, where are you from? I'm like, America, and he looks at me up and down. He's like, there's no, they picture Americans like these really fancy people in like Gucci and Chanel and their hair blowed, And I definitely did not look like that. They were cracking up.
Well, obviously you weren't arrested because you're back here to tell the tale.
Yeah, so they were just cracking. I'm like, I know fancy Americans. They were dying from laughter. It was so funny. So they're looking at our passports, and they're like, where are you from? I'm like, I'm from New York, and then my other friends are from New York. And then the Israeli guy is like, I too am from New York. I'm like, you're not. I'm like, you have an Israeli passport. What are you doing? So the whole thing was
Jewish chutzpah, man. Jewish chutzpah.
I know, he's like, I'm from New York. I'm like, what? You're not from New York.
That's probably the funniest thing that's ever been said on this show. Okay.
Yeah, so you just get into like wild adventures.
I
for
love
sure.
it. I love it. That's absolutely fantastic. When you come into New York next?
I'm not sure. I think a lot of my friends are asking the same question.
Yeah, we'd
But
like to. I'd love to
honestly,
meet you in
2
person.
degrees versus like 75. I'm
Yeah, I
like,
know.
hmm.
Maybe wait till after Pesach. It'll be nice. I'd love to meet you and meet up with you. Go on a New
Yeah,
York
that would be so
adventure
great.
together.
That'd be awesome.
Okay, great. Aviva, thank you so much for joining
My
me.
pleasure. Thanks so much for having me on your show.
I love your books. I hope that they're available on Amazon or at your local Judaica store, I believe, right?
Yes, yep. Both of those.
Okay, well, thank you very much, and I'm really enjoying them, and I cannot wait to use some of them for
Okay, great.
for our family, for the gluten-free and Pesach and everything. So,
Okay, wonderful.
all right,
Enjoy.
Well, thank you. We'll be in touch.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, take care. Bye.
You too. Bye.
Bye. Okay, I meant to say get you guys on the air at the same time. The time is getting away. I'm completely blown away by that.
Yeah,
That was like really something. Yeah, we could do pastries around the world together.
we should.
Okay, let's do that. We'll start off in New York. Okay, I'm sitting here with Sarah Goldstein on this Friday morning, talking to the whole wide world out there today. And now we're actually neighbours in Woodmere. And a friend introduced us.
Yeah.
And my friend told me that you've got to meet Sarah Goldstein. She is an unbelievable baker. So I'm like, excellent, because I love to meet unbelievable bakers. We're just going to take a break for 1 minute. We're going to do a station ID, and then I'm going to do our What's for Dinner segment, and I'm going to jump into those, okay? And just to keep everyone on edge, if you are looking at the screen, I'm going to describe, I'm holding up Aviva's 4 delicious cupcakes, which we're going to talk about right after this. Right after this break. You are listening to Table for Two with Naomi Nachman on the Nachum Segal Network, also heard on Arut Sheva English Radio. Our show is sponsored by Hod Golan. We're going to do our What's for Dinner segment because that is what's for dessert. But let's do What's for Dinner. I don't know if you are been watching me on Facebook or Instagram, but I did a gefilte fish hamantaschen. I felt like I'm not a big cookie person, and I don't love hamantaschen for some reason. I've never really been so into it. I'm more of a cupcake gal. So I decided for my What's for Dinner segment, I was going to develop a gefilte fish hamantaschen because Shushan Purim is Friday. So as an homage to, Purim, we can still have a Friday night dinner and have gefilte fish shaped in hamantaschen. I took my regular favorite brand of gefilte fish that you can buy. Every supermarket carries different brands. So you pick your brands. I use the Aussies brand. I buy it in Gourmet Glatt, of course. They are sponsoring our What's for Dinner segment. I'm not sure if I mentioned that. I'm putting that there. I'm putting that out there. So you take your pot, you put in your frozen loaf, you fill it with water, throw in some sugar and some onions and some carrots. You need big, fat, juicing carrots. That's the key to this, to make it look really cool. And some celery, and you're going to boil that for about an hour and a half. Then you drain it, chuck out the veggies, except the carrots. You need the carrots. You're then going to cut your gefilte fish into about 1-inch slices, like a regular slice, however you would cut it, and the carrot like 1/4 of an inch, like little thin slices. And then from the gefilte fish and the carrot, you're going to cut each slice then into triangles. So you take the scraps, you put it on a little plate with some toothpicks, and then my kids nashed on it all afternoon while I made it on a random Tuesday because I wanted to do this recipe. So you can just like have a nice little afternoon nash with gefilte fish. But then I took each triangle of gefilte fish, I put on a plate, and then I took the carrot, the round carrot, sliced that into also a triangle, and I put it on the center of the gefilte fish, and that kind of looked like the filling. It was really cute. My family really liked it. They liked the idea. It's on Instagram and Facebook under Naomi Nachman if you want to go take a look, or the Aussie Gourmet page, and take a look how adorable it is. It's really a no-brainer, but it was just so cute and adorable. So you can use that for your Purim Suda or for Shabbat dinner. Okay, moving right along to the cupcakes, which have been staring at me in the face. How's it going?
Good.
Okay, so let's talk about your training. Where did you go to cooking school?
I went to the Art Institute of New York City.
Okay, where is that located?
It's
in New York City.
In New York City. It's downtown by Canal Street.
Like also right here on the Lower East Side?
Yes.
So did you and Aviva go around the same time? I don't know.
We probably did.
They were classmates. That's why I kicked myself for not getting them on the air at the same time. Okay, I digress. Okay. Talk to me about these beautiful cupcakes.
I love doing cupcakes. I love doing mini cupcakes because I make all different flavors, and I find even like the skinniest of ladies will take a bite and they'll be like, "Ooh, this is good," and they'll eat a few of them. People will eat a few different flavors rather than cut into a cake. People don't like to do that, but here I have an array of flavored cupcakes.
So your specialty is mini cupcakes, right?
Yes, I do everything, but I love doing mini cupcakes.
Okay. Do you find it very time consuming?
No, actually, I don't. I could whip you up like 1,000 cupcakes in no time, honestly.
Oh my God. And if somebody wants 1,000 cupcakes and order them from you, where do they actually go? You have a business.
I do have a business.
Okay, let's talk about...
I have a business out of the 5 towns.
Okay, and you're under the Vard of Kashrut of the 5 towns, which is so fantastic. A lot of home bakers and cooks like myself don't have hashgacha.
Right.
Excuse me. But you actually do, so that is such a bonus.
Yes, I started out baking out of my home, and then I had the opportunity to get a hechsher because I work in a commissary kitchen, and it's been huge for me.
Right, that really must be a big game changer to be able to go into a kiddush or into a shul and have your stuff out there.
Yeah, the first time I did it was actually for a kiddush that my parents made, and it was like the biggest deal for me. It was so exciting to actually be able to bring my baked goods into a shul.
Yeah, I would love that to happen. Okay, so your specialty is mini. So we've got a bunch of selections here. Okay, ZK, this is how we do our wine and cheese, and I always pass you some. So I'm going to pass you some cake. This is all Parv. He's so excited. I wish we could turn the camera on him. Can we do that? Can I turn the camera on you? No, he won't let me touch the equipment. Okay, what am I eating here?
Those are red velvet cupcakes with a vanilla buttercream frosting.
They are so soft and moist. Okay, so I'm just going to describe, for those of you who cannot see, we're getting this here. ZK's got 2 thumbs up. It's so moist. It's literally a mini, it's the size of my knuckle, of my thumb.
What's that?
A little bit more. And then it's got this little mountain of... What is this, buttercream?
Yes, it's
a vanilla buttercream. My mouth is completely watering. Okay, and what are these little sprinkles on top?
It's red decorating sugars.
Okay, I'm going to... Mizona. I'm going to love it. Okay. You have to keep talking while I eat. What else have you got?
I also have a s'mores cupcake that I have a toasted marshmallow on top. A couple of years ago, I bought myself a real legit blowtorch. First, I went to Bed Bath & Beyond and I bought one of those pretty little ones. And then I said, you know what? No, I went to the hardware store and I said, can I have a blowtorch? And the salesman said, what are you using it for? And I said, dessert. And he's like, oh, okay. And I love my blowtorch.
So you bought a real blowtorch?
I bought a real legit giant like industrial blowtorch. And any opportunity I use it.
Oh my God, won't this little marshmallow on top get blown away?
No, I put it on very lightly, but yes,
I'm getting, oh God, I cannot get
crumbs,
the studio
sorry. Graham cracker crumbs underneath the
oh my God,
cupcake, and on top there's like a marshmallow baked into the middle of the cake. I'm sorry. I'll pay for your dry cleaning.
It's okay, I'm not worried about that. I don't want to get the floor dirty.
Oh.
Can I just tell you something?
Yes.
This is the most exotic cupcake I've ever had, and I've had a lot of cupcakes.
Thank you.
I like this because there's a surprise in every little millimeter. There's
try to get it all.
There's a different. This is. I'm just going to pop the rest in my mouth because I've got nothing else to do with it.
No problem.
This is amazing. Okay.
Thank you.
Next, talk about the other two while I swallow.
That's fine. Next, we have a mint chocolate chip cupcake. It's a chocolate cupcake with a mint chocolate chip frosting. Like growing up, I was never really a mint person. I mean,
I'm not. I always say it tastes like toothpaste.
Yeah, and especially like mint chip ice cream, like totally not my thing. But then one time I was like, you know what? Maybe I'll just try it. And this has really turned into one of my favorite cupcakes. I infuse like a mint extract into the buttercream, and it's really it's really delicious.
Now, you must have a very steady hand for this, right?
You have to. Sometimes it's steady, sometimes it's not. But that's the great thing about cupcakes, though. It's just no matter what, they just look good.
To me, cupcakes symbolizes really a lot. I know it's funny that I'm doing a whole little bit on cupcakes and, not so much Hamantaschen, but and you could put a tiny little Hamantaschen on top too as a little decoration.
Mm-hmm.
It shows there's something about like when you make a party, someone will always say, I'll bring the cupcakes. It means comfort, it means love. It's something really solid. You can't have a party without a cupcake.
Right.
Whether it's a little kids' party, I do a lot of party planning now, and they always want a little mini cupcake.
Yeah. People love cupcakes. That's my biggest seller, I would say.
Yeah, is the
Yeah.
cupcakes.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Parties and stuff. Yeah.
And then now we have,
And
I'm
then
going to
we
pass
have-
the mint one to ZK. I'm going to take a little break. There you go. He's not taking a break. He's so happy. Are you happy with me? Casey's breakfast.
And last, I have a mocha cappuccino cupcake that I
Oh.
put a little chocolate.
Yeah, I'm going to definitely
coffee
hold that
bean
up.
on top. That's honestly, I think, my favorite cupcake. It's. I mean, especially for people who are coffee drinkers, it's so delicious. It's not like a heavy coffee flavor.
Yeah,
but,
I'm having a lick of the cream.
Yeah, the cream is so good.
And this is
really.
all part. So what is the
All the
key
stuff
to
is
making a really good cream?
The key is making sure that you really get it smooth and to a good piping consistency. I've made it where it's been so hard to pipe out of the bag. You just have to find that good balance between liquids and the powdered sugar you put into it. And a nice smooth, you have to let that butter or margarine just go for a long time and get it smooth.
Now, my listeners know that I love butter.
Yeah.
There is nothing nicer than a butter cream
Yes.
made with butter
That's
and
true.
cream, as opposed to margarine or Rich's Whip.
Right.
Look, sometimes you can't help it. Where
Right.
If you keep Shabbat and kosher, you need to have
Yes.
the substitutions. Somebody once told me a pastry chef said they did an experiment. They took a stick of margarine and a stick of butter and they left it outside, and only the flies went to the butter because margarine's not considered a food group.
I heard
And-
that.
Yeah, I'm like, oh gosh.
Yeah. I will admit that my stuff is not the healthiest, but
That's
it
okay.
tastes delicious.
Kay and I we don't care.
Right.
We don't care.
Right.
Look, everything in moderation, and they
It's
are
true.
minis. You can have
They're
one.
mini.
Okay, so when did you start your whole baking thing? How old were you? Because some kids start young.
Oh, I was young when I got my love for baking. My mother used to always bake when we were younger. She used to make us the best birthday cakes. It was before fondant came out, so everything was done with buttercream. She used to make us all these crazy designed cakes, and she used to bake for all the Yom Tovim, and I just loved helping her. And from a young age, I said I want to go to culinary school. That's what I want to do.
It's like the people who go to medical
great.
school from a young age. I know they
Right.
want to be a doctor. You knew from a young age you're
I
going to be
knew.
a pastry chef.
That's the only thing I've ever wanted to do, honestly.
I think that's
I love
so
it.
fantastic.
Yeah, and you know what? I love people love pastries. If you don't love pastries, there's something wrong with you.
Right. Look, overall, I'm a food person. Like people ask me, are you food or do you like to cook or bake? I
Right.
get that a lot. So I like to say I like to cook, and you say
I
bake.
love to bake. Yeah.
Right. So there is
Yeah.
that little bit of both, but I think you cannot be a good foodie or a good chef without having done it. I have done a lot of the classes.
Right.
But you have that push for something else. This and me,
Right.
food.
You too. Right.
I do a lot of fish. That's become my specialty. But
Yeah.
everyone's got their specialty within the food industry.
Yeah.
So who are your guinea pigs?
My family and my neighbors. My neighbors get so excited every time I ring the doorbell.
Like, oh look, Sarah's
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
That's very cute.
I call them up. I'm like, "Are you home?" They're like, "Are we getting pastries?" I was like, "Maybe."
Then I'll be there in 5 minutes.
Right.
All right.
Yes.
So let's move on to those little mini mousses because they
Okay.
are quite popular. You see them at all at little functions.
Yes.
And you know what I like about Sarah? She uses these cool cups. Now you do usually quite often see them in shot glasses, but now these cute I don't know what
Little
decorative mini glasses have become very readily available. I'm going to pass EK one. All right. I gewalt. I've got a lap. I have a lap full of cookie crumbs.
Sorry.
That's okay. That's all right. We have a vacuum cleaner here somewhere. Okay.
Before you get up.
Okay. Here we go. Here's the chocolate
Please
mousse.
Enjoy.
What is the key to the success of mousse? Because mousse is so so temperamental. I got cream on the microphone. It's not darling my loud Australian voice, is it? Okay, I'm just going to clean it up. Okay. See that scraping noise? That's me cleaning there. Okay.
I've tried many mousse recipes to try to find like a good mousse that also holds up well.
Because they're temperamental.
They are temperamental. I've made many mousses, like, with the egg whites, and they just like flop, and it's sad. But so I found like a good balance between like eggs and like a whip, and this is really, it's like a nice consistency, and it really tastes
very
delicious.
Very light and moist. Now, do you have a website?
I do have a website. It's Baker's 12. It's www.bakers12.com. But right now it's actually under construction. I'm looking to upgrade a little bit. But I have a Facebook page under Baker's Dozen, and you can follow me on Instagram, Baker's Dozen, Baker's 12. Anything you put in Baker's Dozen or Baker's 12, you'd probably navigate towards
into your thing.
Yes.
I love it, and I love when everybody posts stuff. Oh, are there more goodies in that thing?
Oh, I have some cannolis, some mousse-filled cannolis.
Oh my gosh, we need Aviva on the line and talk about our.
They're not
an homage to Italy.
They're probably not Italian cannolis.
Okay, that's all right. We love cannolis. The first one of my first shows that I did when I started Table for Two 2 years ago, I had Paul Sapienza from Sapienza Bakery out in Elmont, Long Island, and he bought us fresh cannoli with ricotta cream. It was amazing.
I'm sure.
Yeah, very milchig.
Yes. Anything milchig is amazing.
Yeah.
But my stuff's good too.
It's good. Right,
but
no. It's all about masking the using good part of ingredients and sometimes masking the chemical flavor.
Yeah.
And I think you've done a superb job of this. Look at this. This is so cute. This is so a kid's birthday party or fun food. And this is great. Do you give out recipes? Can people find recipes on your...
Sometimes, but not always, because I want people to come buy things from me.
Most people aren't going to make this. If I buy it, I'm already filthy, right?
I know, right? It should. It might pop out the other end, but it's filled. It's filled with the same chocolate mousse. But sometimes I fill it with cheesecakes. Like I'll fill it with like a cheesecake filling for Shavuot.
Cheesecake in a cannoli?
In a cannoli, yes.
Oh, that's amazing. And do you make this shell?
I do not make the shell.
Oh, okay. Because we have, like, who makes their own puff pastry?
Like, right, yeah.
Gonna put
time-wise, it's much easier for me to buy them. Shout out to Presidor.
Yeah, I love that
I
stuff.
love those, the cannolis. You buy them, get them at Gourmet Glad, and
or your local supermarket. You can buy it for the people who are listening who live in neighborhoods that do not have big supermarkets. Right. We are so lucky to have Gourmet Glad, and the Brooklyn stores have their stores in Queens and Chicago and Los Angeles.
Yeah,
but there are a lot of listeners that do not live in big neighborhoods. Amazon has a ton of kosher food that you can buy through Amazon. A lot of vendors will sell their stuff through Amazon,
right?
Which is really fantastic because
is
kosher is everywhere now.
I know.
Right?
Yeah. I think I'm just spoiled. I've always lived in New York, and when I hear about people who live in the Midwest and they're like, yeah, we get a shipment once a month, and I'm like, what? It's crazy. We're really spoiled here.
I know, we're very spoiled. If you want kosher wine, we had a guest on last week, Yosef Silva, and I just want to clarify, he has that 5% discount for Table for Two listeners. If you can buy wine if you don't live in a big neighborhood where they have a lot of kosher wine selection. You can go to kosherwine.com and put in the discount code. I actually did it. I ordered a case of cream Malaga and a case of Zmora wine. I typed in the code TABLE42, but I wrote it all out. TABLEFORTWO. And I put that in, and I'm gonna have hopefully this afternoon. It'll be at my door. I just did it yesterday, so or 2 days ago, so it takes 2 days, but it was really fantastic. This has been an amazing show. Thank you so much for
Thank
coming
you
on.
for having
It
me.
flies like that, doesn't it? It goes so fast. Thank you for listening, everybody. You are listening to Table for Two with Naomi Nachman on the Nachum Siegel Network. Our show is sponsored by Hod Golan, The Height of Taste. We have music right up until Lichtbenching, so stay tuned. It's sponsored by our friends at Kerem. Wishing everybody a Shabbat Shalom, almost a happy Purim, and take care. Shabbat Shalom. I'm going to keep eating.